Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship at Stony Brook. We acknowledge we are located on Settlecott land. My name is Laura Lesh, and I'm serving as your worship associate today for one of our most important services of the year, our annual Martin Luther King Memorial Service. Our special guest service leader is the Reverend Kimberly Johnson, who will be joining us remotely. Kind of. I'll get back to that. Several members of our Racial Concerns Committee will also be participating. This is the first time we're doing a hybrid service like this with a guest minister, and there have been several last-minute changes. So although what you see on the left side of your order of service is mostly correct, some of what you see on the right side, which tells you who is doing what, has been changed, and a few names don't even appear at all. Fear not, I'll fill it all in as we go. However, we are having some severe technical issues, and thus we were delayed even in starting. So the way I understand this is that the folks online will be able to see and hear what's going on, but they won't be able to see us in the room. So they won't be able to see any of us in the room because the cameras aren't working. Is that right? Okay. And I'm very sad to say that we in the room will not be able to see any images on the screen. So although we will be able to hear Reverend Kimberly, we will not be able to see her. But hey, we're going to roll with it, right, folks? Our consulting minister is the Reverend David Mesner. The co-chair of our Religious Education Committee, Susan Buckley, is here today if you have any questions about the programs for children and youth. Susan, you want to just raise your hand? Yeah, there she is. And I know you all want to join me in a warm welcome back to our beloved music director, Dr. Dan Weymouth, from his semester off. Whether you're here in our sanctuary or attending online, we're one congregation worshiping together. So let's all say hi, because they won't be able to see the wave, to those who are joining in from home. Big one. Hi. Yeah. A special welcome to those of you who braved the weather and are here for the first time or just visiting. We're so glad you're here and looking forward to getting to know you. If you raise your hand, we'll be able to find you and greet you after the service. Anybody here for the first time or just new? Great, good for you. Welcome. For those of you here, please plan to join us after the service for a special coffee hour and conversation inspired by the story you will hear in our Time for All Ages. For those of you who are with us online, if you sign off when we finish and return to our website or newsfeed, you will find the link for joining the small group chat. Whether here or online, you'll find friendly folks who can answer any questions you might have. At any time during the service, those of you here are invited to place a pebble in the water on the side table, symbolizing a joy, a concern, a promise, or a release that sends ripples of your intentions out into the world. Now, I have three important and time-sensitive announcements for you before we get started, so listen up. Number one, each year, our Unitarian Universalist Association conducts a membership census of all the UU congregations. We must submit the number of members in our congregation by February 1st. That's less than 2 weeks away, I think. This number will determine the number of voting delegates we get to send to General Assembly in June, where the plans and decisions and elections for the coming year are carried out. In gathering this information, it has become apparent that an alarming number of our members are no longer officially members. This is because a change in our bylaws, which we voted on and passed last June, and which went into effect on July 1st, which states that to be a voting member of this congregation, you must not only have signed the membership book one time and made some donation of record in the past year, but also you must have made an annual pledge of whatever amount you want for the current year. This is not a contract. No money is due now. It's your intention of support, which can be changed as your circumstances require. But without it, you are not eligible to vote, and we cannot officially count you as a member. So please, folks, get your pledges in, not only for the coming year, but if you haven't made one for this year, please make one. If you're unsure of your current status, just call Susan and ask her in the office. Also, if Linda Volkerts made it in, Linda, are you here? Good. Linda's here, and Marie Baltz. They have a list of everybody who is in this in-between state, and you can check with them after the service is over, and they can let you know what your status is and help you fix it. Okay. Number 2, you may have noticed that we are once again surrounded with hearts. That is a sure sign that the annual 30 Days of Love is upon us. Every year, from Martin Luther King Day to Valentine's Day, Side with Love sponsors this 30-day period of celebration with weekly offerings of spiritual nourishing, political grounding, and shared practices of faith and justice. This year, the theme is Love at the Center, reimagining the world as it could be. Each week, those who register to participate will receive a written reflection from Side with Love, a conversation with a UU theologian, a multi-generation family activity, reflection questions for journaling, a meditative body practice, and a coloring sheet connected to the weekly theme. Sounds like just what we need for these times, right? It's easy to register, it's open to everyone, and there is no cost. Just go to sidewithlove.org. I believe it's in your weekly announcements. Complete the short form and click submit. It begins tomorrow, so today is the best day to join in. Give it a try. See me at coffee hour if you want any more information. And lastly, number 3, just a reminder for those of you residing in the Three Village School District that the referendum vote on the proposed district bond issue takes place this Tuesday from 6 in the morning to 9 in the evening in the gymnasium on the north side of Board Melville High School. This is a really important issue, and good voter turnout is crucial. See me or Peg Espinola. Peg, just raise your hand. For more information following the service, if you have any questions about that. Okay. John Anello, please come forward to share today's UU Minute.
Thank you, Laura. Hi, folks, and to all you people out there who can't see me on camera.
A little closer to the mic.
Yeah, sure. I'm kind of new at this. So, when I was asked to do the UU Minute, I didn't know it would be on the day of our annual Martin Luther King Jr. service, and that I would be one of the first speakers standing at the pulpit. So I'm a little nervous, a little bit of pressure. But maybe somewhere in my words, in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr., you can identify with my personal yearning to be connected and share ourselves and travel on this journey together. So when I came here in April 2025, almost a year ago, I had recently retired and was missing my coworkers terribly and hungering for people to connect with, to fill a void. I was in a new and lonely stage in my life, raising my kids and commuting to the city every day. Had taken all of my time, and I hadn't made new friends in probably decades. While searching the web for potential groups the Unitarian Universalist came up. Well, it just so happened that my late wife, Carrie, and I had attended a couple of UFSB services right here with our two very young sons 18 years ago. But our lives soon after became complicated, and we didn't come back. So I was nervous and hesitant to come back after all these years, 18 years ago. But I figured I could attend a Sunday service, stealthily come in, stealthily disappear, which is what I did. I sat on the side. But something happened. So while here, the sermons really began to touch me. And they were accompanied by some of my favorite songs from the 60s, and it turned out there were a bunch of old hippies here just like me. You know who you are. And that was great. And in the Sunday service handouts, I was particularly intrigued by the meditative arts offerings and headed to a labyrinth walk. Hi, Linda. I didn't really know what a labyrinth was, and I didn't expect much. I think it was the second or third time I attended a labyrinth walk that I really just cried my eyes out. It put me in touch with feelings of grief for my late wife that I had really kind of buried for almost 13 years. And I began to feel so grateful. And I'm going to get emotional here, but I began to feel so grateful to have found these people in this place. So I kept coming back, and I decided to become an official member. And I have my name tag, which I wear like a badge of honor. And it took a while to get this, and I was like, where's my name tag? Where's my name tag? And thank you for all those who helped me become a member and get my name tag. So at UUFSB, I've discovered things about myself at 68, almost 69, that I might never have discovered had I not come here. For example, it turns out I like to talk to people. Maybe not up here so much, but I like to talk to people. And I like to listen. And I'm a heart person more than a head person, which was a surprise to me because I was an editor for 40 years and I thought I was a head guy, but it turns out I think I'm a heart guy. And maybe I have more to offer in my late 60s and beyond than I realized. Now I come here not only to meet people and make connections, but to discover new things about myself. It's a safe, loving environment where I can reveal things about myself that I might otherwise be hesitant to do. And I can share my doubts and my fears. I can be me as I am. I can be open, vulnerable, scared. It's okay. And maybe that's the thing about this place that means the most to me. I'm okay. You're okay. We're all okay. And we're all in this together. There may actually be no other place where I have ever felt this way. It's unique, it's important, it's really, really valuable. And it's worth taking care of and making sure it survives, it prospers, and it grows. Thank you.
And we are grateful for you. Please silence your cell phones and let us center ourselves as we enter into the sacred space of worship with the sounding of the morning bell. May the vibrations help us to release our concerns and distractions, open our hearts and our minds, and bring us fully into this present moment as we worship together.
There's far too many of you crying. Oh, brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War's not the answer. Even love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see, hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Mother, everybody thinks we're wrong. But who are they to judge us while they refuse to hear our song? Oh, you know you've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines, picket signs don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see, oh, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Ooh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Whoa. Well, that woke us up. Yeah. Peggy Fort from our Racial Concerns Committee will come forward to light our chalice this morning, and Luann Rindy is going to come forward for the chalice lighting words entitled For Our Collective Liberation by Deanna Van Diver.
We light this chalice, symbol of faith alive in this world, naming our vision of collective liberation and daring to remember each other into a beloved community.
Joanne Hammer will come forward to deliver the call to worship, a reading entitled Forged in the Fire of Our Coming Together by Gretchen Haley.
What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? In these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with these questions on repeat. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes and forwarded emails, as if the new zodiac, capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way, as if we could prepare, as if life had ever made any promises of making sense or turning out the way we'd thought, as if we are not also actors in this still unfolding story. For this hour, for this hour we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves from the needing to know, the yearning to have it already all figured out, and also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, we make space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage. Forged in the fire of our coming together and felt in the spirit that comes alive in this act of faith. That we believe still a new world is possible, that we are creating it already here and now. Come, let us worship together. What do I do? Okay.
Please rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing hymn number 1028. That's 1028 in your teal hymnal, The Fire of Commitment. We'll sing just verses 1, 2, and 3.
Today I'll be sharing with you an adaptation of this children's book, Noodle Font, written by Jacob Kramer, illustrated by K. Fay Steele. A zany tale of pasta, puns, friendship, and one fantastic noodler, Noodle Font is about justice, community, and the courage to speak up and out. Once there was an elephant who loved noodles. She loved noodles so much that all her friends called her Noodle Font. She loved to scoop noodles in huge, slippery slurps and eat them by the trunkload. She had neighbors of all sorts. Some had fur, some were smooth, some could roll, some could fly, and some had deep pockets and were very, very bossy. Those were the kangaroos. The kangaroos were always making new laws. They made laws about who could swim at the beach, only the kangaroos. They made laws who could enjoy the butterfly garden, only kangaroos. And who could make the laws, you guessed it, only kangaroos. Noodle Font and her friends knew the laws weren't fair, but they didn't want to get thrown in the zoo. So instead of swimming at the beach, they cooled off in the sprinkler. Instead of visiting the butterfly garden, they watched the moths dance in lamplight. Instead of making laws, they made food for each other. Noodle Font in particular was famous for her pasta parties. She loved to mix whole bags of semolina flour with dozens of eggs, delighting her guests with noodles of all shapes and sizes. One day, while Noodle Font was shopping for a party, a kangaroo blew his whistle. "You there, elephant, what are you doing with all those eggs and semolina flour?" Said Noodle Font. "I was thinking of maybe a fresh batch of fettuccine, or maybe some curly cavatappi would be nice." "Oh, no, you won't," snapped the kangaroo, pulling a law book from his pouch. "Elephants are no longer allowed to eat noodles. It says so right here. Elephants shall only eat sticks and branches." "Well, if we catch you eating noodles, we will lock you up in the zoo. Buy some acai branches and don't even think about noodles." Well, walking home, Noodle Font couldn't help but think about noodles. She tried pouring tomato sauce on the acai branches, but they were not slippery, they were not slurpable, and the thorns prickled and poked her belly. All at once, Noodle Font had an idea. She had a fantastic idea, a revolutionary idea. Together, Noodle Font and her friends tapped and tinkered and chanted as they worked, "Those kangaroos are kangarooed," making rules about our food, telling us how we should think, what we can eat and what to drink, and when our new machine is done, we will eat pasta by the ton, because noodles are for me's and you's, and not just bossy kangaroos. They called the machine the Fantastic Noodler. It was very complicated, but also very simple. With a few turns of the crank, it turned anything into noodles. Noodle Font tossed in some pens. She turned the crank, and out tumbled a pile of overcooked penne. She knocked a dent into the side, and the next batch was perfectly, wait for it, al dente. The noodles were slippery, slurpily, and scrumptious. It was a grand party, the best one yet. That is, until the kangaroos burst through the door. Noodle Font was tried in a kangaroo court. They said she had broken the laws, but Noodle Font said that the laws were already broken. She declared the laws for elephants and shrews, tortoises, fruit bats, and gnu's should be the same as those we use for all you wealthy kangaroos. Guilty, said the judge. As she was led away, Noodlefont shouted, justice is for all of us, not just for the bossiest. And though right now it sounds absurd, one day you will eat your words. Each day a zookeeper brought Noodlefont a pile of thorny acai branches, and each day she refused to eat them. She was on strike. Her friends called the kangaroos and wrote them letters. They protested outside the courthouse. Noodlefont remained alone, stuck in the zoo. But her friends agreed they had to do something. One lonesome day, Noodlefont received a letter. Dear Noodlefont, we know you don't like acai branches, but we wish you would try them tonight. Deep down, you just might find you're fantastic. Love, your friends. That evening, Noodlefont accepted the zookeeper's pile of thorny branches. She dug deep down with her trunk and found the fantastic noodleizer. For the appetizer, she cranked her friend's letter into it, and a steaming bowl of alphabet soup came out. Then Noodlefont clamped the machine to the bars of her cage. Slowly and quietly, she turned the crank. The iron bars collapsed into a warm pile of udon, which she scooped up in slurpy slurps. To celebrate, she decided to throw a pasta party, the likes of which she had never seen. Noodlefont's friends spread the word. As the sun rose over the courthouse square, the animals began to cook. Smells wafted over the town, sizzling onions mixed with simmering tomatoes, the tang of raw garlic blended with the fresh basil and Parmesan cheese. Soon the guests began to arrive. Each animal brought something different to crank through the fantastic noodler. Together they turned the corkscrews into cavatappi, flowers into fiore, and wheels into rotelli. That is until, what do you think you're doing there? Said the kangaroo. Oh, welcome to our potluck. Our guests have all brought something to share. Do you have something to offer? And the kangaroo brandished his law book and began, the law is the law. It says right here, noodles are for Oh, what a thoughtful contribution, said the Noodlefont. And with a flick of her trunk, she whisked the law book from the kangaroo's paw and cranked it through the machine. Out came a piping hot slice of lasagna covered in bubbling cheese. It was the most delicious thing the kangaroo had ever tasted. The town celebrated long into the night, chanting together, when the laws are so unjust, misbehavior is a must. Together we will make new rules to share with fresh noodles. Because noodles are for me's and you's. We won't be locked up in the zoos. We'll slurp them down on avenues, at the beach, and in canoes. Yes, noodles are for me's and you's. We'll even share them with the kangaroos. In honor of Noodlefont and her love of everything noodly, you just might find some pasta dishes to choose from following the service in the coffee hour. And now, if we could sing our children and our teachers out to the Reeves Children Benediction you'll find in the back of any of your hymnals. Thank you.
Let us into our time of meditation. We'll begin with spoken words, then we'll have a time of silent meditation and reflection. Bethany will bring us out of the silence with hymn number 1040, Hush. And we'll sing the first 3 verses. You may wish to open your teal hymnal to that page now, number 1040. Barbara Coley, the chair of our Racial Concerns Committee, will come forward to lead our meditation.
This poem was written by a young African-American woman writer, published in 2018. And in the poem, she takes on the voice of Martin Luther King Jr. For you, son, I dreamed a childhood unburdened by hate, a boyhood of adventure, skinned knees and hoops, first loves and small rebellions. I dreamed you whole and growing into your own manhood, writing its definitions with your daily being. I dreamed you alive, living. For you, America's African heir, I dreamed a future of open doors, of opportunity without oppression, of affirmation and action. I dreamed Oprah and Obama. I dreamed Colin and Condoleezza. I dreamed doctors and dancers, lawyers and linebackers, models, musicians, mechanics, preachers and professors and police, authors, activists, astronauts, even astronauts, all black as Jesus is. I dreamed you dapper, the black skin of you polished to glow, your curls, your kinks, your locks, your bald, your wild, your freshly barbered, all beautiful. I dreamed you wearing whatever the hell you want and not dying for it. For you, brother, I dreamed a world softened by love, free from the fear that makes too early ancestors of our men, turns our boys into targets, headlines, and ghosts. I had a dream that my children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Sweet song of my sorrow, sweet dream deferred. For you, gone one, I dream justice, her scales tipped away from your extinction, her eyes and arms unbound and open to you at last.
Each week, it is our spiritual practice to share our offering plate with an organization working for a more just future. Karen Posey will come forward for the invitation to today's offering.
For the month of January, our shared plate recipient is the Butterfly Effect Project. This organization is devoted to creating safe spaces for youth to dream and succeed, with a special commitment to those whose voices are often overlooked. Started in 2014 with just 8 girls, today there are 31 chapters, mostly on Eastern Long Island, serving both boys and girls. They provide opportunities for learning, leadership, and just plain fun. They have a garden club, arts programming that includes dance teams, a monologue club, and social justice programming. They also support career preparation through job readiness classes, a Future Teachers of Tomorrow program, in-person tutoring, and a college access program that enables youth to receive personal guidance on college applications, SAT prep, and financial planning. Their college retention program supports students as they navigate the college experience. So as you enjoy the offertory, please give generously in support of this amazing organization. For those worshiping online, we need your donations too. And the link to donate is in the comments now and also on the homepage of our website.
September 77, Port Elizabeth, weather fine. It was business as usual in police room 619. Oh, because because
Oh, my. Thank you. We're honored to welcome back to our pulpit for our Martin Luther King service the Reverend Kimberly Hope Johnson, minister of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the South Fork out in Watermill, and the co-moderator of the Unitarian Universalist Association, elected at GA last June. She's the first co-moderator of the UUA from Long Island ever, so we're super proud to have her here. Although Kimberly was committed to being with her own congregation today, she generally offered to share this MLK service with us and record her reading and sermon. I'm delighted to tell you she'll be here live with us during February for Black History Month. So through the magic of our tech team, except a little piece of it, here's Reverend Kimberly.
Good morning. I'm so glad that I can be here with you this morning, and many thanks to your team who made this possible. I'm especially grateful that I get to be a part of your Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebrations this year. In 1967, 58 years ago, a year before he was assassinated, the Reverend Martin Luther King wrote his last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. It was published by our very own Beacon Press, and it fell out of print until 2010 when Beacon Press republished it with an introduction and a foreword. And we are so fortunate for that republication. It is both prescient and timely. King wrote this book when the civil rights movement seemed to be falling apart. It had lost momentum. There was waning support from white allies, including clergy, who had been a source of support. The Black middle class, seemingly satisfied with the meager rewards of integration, were less invested. And there was a significant challenge from a younger generation, especially SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, who called, instead of for civil rights, called for a Black Power movement. And the country was embroiled in the Vietnam War. In the heat of all of this, King decided to take a step back from the speeches and the rallies, from the political engagement. He spent a month in Jamaica, no phone, no distractions, an opportunity to collect his thoughts. It was during this time that he wrote the first draft of this book, Where Do We Go From Here? In it, he identified 3 interlinked evils, what he called the triple giants of racism, poverty, and militarism. King talks about global poverty and the need to address global poverty as both a practical and a moral issue. We cannot expect peace at home or abroad as long as people are laboring under the boot of economic exploitation, confronted with the inequality of the world's wealthy living lavishly at their expense. What we can expect is resentment and an expectation for a better life that people witness other people experiencing. And if those things are not given, what the wealthy world can expect, what the wealthy in any country can expect, is that people will rise up and take their share. But King describes the problem of global poverty, both in the world and at home, as not just a practical issue, but a moral imperative grounded deeply in his Christian faith, not very unlike our Unitarian Universalist faith, that recognizes that we are all children of God, all creations of the divine, with inherent worth and dignity, interconnected. In his letter from a Birmingham jail earlier, King had written, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. No one can thrive while our siblings suffer, and they ought not try." In addition to poverty and racism, King emphasized the folly, the hypocrisy of leaders whose cries and whose attestations of peace can scarcely be heard over the rattling of their sabers. Does that sound familiar to you now? Cries of peace in the midst of making war. This book was prescient in its day. It is timely now. It is so relevant to the moment we find ourselves in. What the work of this day, what the work of King reminds us is how important it is for people of good conscience, and especially for people of faith, to be engaged in politics, to be engaged in the issues of our day. And to be clear, I don't mean partisanship. I don't mean taking sides in a contest between political parties. But I do mean to concern ourselves with power and how it is used, especially how power is wielded by our so-called leaders. In talking about domestic politics and racism, but I think we can apply this to our understanding of domestic and global politics today. King is talking about his day, but listen for how it is relevant to us right now. He writes, "The problem of transforming the ghetto is therefore a problem of power, a confrontation between the forces of power demanding change and the forces of power dedicated to preserving the status quo. Power, properly understood, is the ability to achieve purpose. It is the strength required to bring about social, political, and economic changes. In this sense, power is not only desirable, but necessary in order to implement the demands of love and justice. One of the greatest problems of history is that the concepts of love and power are usually contrasted as polar opposites. Love is identified with a resignation of power, and power with a denial of love. It was this misinterpretation that caused Nietzsche, the philosopher of the will to power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was this same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject Nietzsche's philosophy of the will to power in the name of the Christian idea of love. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. Justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. There is nothing essentially wrong with power. The problem is that in America, power is unequally distributed. This has led Negro Americans in the past to seek their goals through love and moral suasion devoid of power, and white Americans to seek their goals through power devoid of love and conscience. In his struggle for racial justice, the Negro must seek to transform his condition of powerlessness into creative and positive change. How are we, in this day, how are we called to use our power? How are we called to understand love and power as the twin forces that we have to transform our world? I am planning an event here in my congregation, in my local community, for January 20th. The call is for a national walkout to resist fascism. And in planning this event, one of the members of my congregation asked, can we talk about fascism when we promote this event? I actually get this question a lot. Can we talk about fascism? This is a church, it's a religious organization. Is this water that we can wade in? My answer to this question, my response to this question is that not only can we talk about fascism, we must talk about fascism. We must name it, we must understand it, we must understand how it works so that we can recognize it and so that we can organize against it. We must talk about imperialism and what it means for our government to invade another country, to seize its leader, to claim that we are in charge, to claim that we will determine how their oil industry is run and how the profits will be used. This is not about Maduro and whether or not he is a good guy. This is about power, how it's used, in whose interest, and how it is checked. We must talk about what it means for the president of this country to declare that we are going to do something about Greenland, an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, our long-standing ally, to say that we are going to do something about Greenland, whether they like it or not. And this trickles down. This is the same language that Trump used in his campaign. The idea, the words, that he would protect women. And when advised to be more careful or more circumspect in his language, he doubled down to say, I'm going to do it whether they like it or not. Power allowed to surge unchecked will not contain itself to someone over there, will not contain itself to one issue. Power unchecked is a monster that will trample anything in its way. Power unchecked is trampling people in Minneapolis, and people have been killed. And before Minneapolis, it was Los Angeles, California, Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, Portland, Oregon, Chicago, Illinois, and where we'll be next. We must talk about ICE raids sweeping through our country, sweeping through our communities. The words of Anne Frank echo today. Terrible things are happening outside. At any time of day and night, poor, helpless people are being dragged out of their homes. Families are torn apart. Men, women, children are separated. Children come home from their school to find that their parents have been disappeared. what is happening in our communities. We must talk about a government that names judges and the free press as enemies, and then uses the power of that government in a campaign of retribution and intimidation, investigating legislators, raiding homes of journalists, attempting to prosecute anyone who dares stand up to them. This kind of intimidation, meant to get people to shut up or not speak up in the first place, meant to keep people afraid and off kilter, meant to keep us divided and isolated. It would be an insult to pretend that this is okay, that this is within the bounds of normalcy. This is not normal. This is not normal, and it is not okay. And I understand the temptation to be discouraged. And I understand even more the temptation to feel hate. Please trust and believe that when I tell you the way forward is love and not hate. It is not out of some naive, bubblegum Pollyanna platitude. I understand and fight against this urge to fight fire with fire, to say when they go low, we go lower. When they go low, we kick them. And here is where the words of the Reverend King are once again instructive. Further reflecting on power, he says, I am concerned that Negroes achieve full status as citizens and as human beings here in the United States. But I am also concerned about our moral uprightness and the health of our souls. Therefore, I must oppose any attempts to gain our freedom by the methods of malice, hate, and violence that have characterized our oppressors. Hate is just as injurious to the hater as it is to the hated. Like an unchecked cancer, hate corrodes the personality and eats away its vital unity. Many of our inner conflicts are rooted in hate. This is why the psychiatrists say love or perish. I have seen hate expressed in the countenances of too many Mississippi and Alabama sheriffs to advise the Negro to sink to this miserable level. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Are we seeking power for power's sake? Or are we seeking to make the world and our nation better places to live? If we seek the latter, violence can never provide the answer. The ultimate weakness of violence is that it is a descending spiral, begetting the very thing it seeks to destroy. Instead of diminishing evil, it multiplies it. Through violence, you may murder the liar, but you cannot murder the lie, nor establish the truth. Through violence, you may murder the hater, but you cannot murder the hate. In fact, violence merely increases hate, and so it goes. Returning violence for violence multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. The beauty of nonviolence is that in its own way and in its own time, it seeks to break the chain reaction of evil with a majestic sense of spiritual power. It seeks to elevate truth, beauty, and goodness to the throne. Therefore, I will continue to follow this method because I think it is the most practically sound and morally excellent way for the Negro to achieve freedom. That is a lot. That is a lot of brilliance. And this is hard work. And it is spiritual work. We don't fight our way into peace. We don't hate our way into love. And dang it if it's not hard. I have a sign. I keep this on my wall. Love is hard. Do it anyway. It will require what Reverend King calls a revolution of values. That we value people more than things. That we recognize the inherent dignity and worthiness of every person, regardless of the accident of birth to where one happens to have been born. A revolution of values where we want the same peace, the same health, the same safety, the same opportunity for any child as we want for our own child. A revolution of values where we understand that our futures are inextricably tied to those of our neighbors, who are our kin. This is the deep, deep solidarity that is the foundation of beloved community. And it is not easy. I keep this sign as a visual reminder. But what I really like is this poem by Alice Walker. Loving humans is tricky. Sometimes a slap in the face is all you get for doing it right. Loving humans is a job like any other. More bumps on the way to work, which is full on all the time. Loving humans makes us want to invite ourselves to tea with rancid dictators we think we can convince of our story's side. While all they think about, while we sit and dream, is how they can get away with poisoning our tea. And how, if only they had enough tea already brewed, they could waterboard us to death with it. Loving humans means writing poems and songs, novels and plays, slogans and chants and protest signs our critics want to stone us for, while we think of them as people under different circumstances we might be able to help. There is indeed a Buddha in every one of us, loving humans, with all our clear and unmistakable reluctance to evolve. Makes this hard for most humans to see. But not you. Loving humans is hard. It is writing poems and songs and novels and plays and slogans and chants and protest signs, and sometimes it is crying, and sometimes it is yelling, and sometimes it is prayer. During the pandemic, I developed a pretty serious prayer practice. I had not had one before. I started praying not because I was afraid, but because I was angry. I was so angry. And I needed something to do with all of it. Anger, frustration, resentment. And so I would go to the ocean and I would think about the people that I was angry with. And I would think about the things that I was angry about and the people responsible for those things. And I would imagine those people as someone just like me. And I would think about what their day might be. I would remind myself that they have their own fears. I would remind myself that they have their own struggles and their own sorrows and their own suffering. And I would pray for them to be well. And I would pray for them to be healthy. And I would pray for them to have the things that they need. I would pray for their hearts to be open and compassionate. I would pray for them to listen. And I would pray the same things for myself. You might be familiar with, if prayer is not your thing, the loving kindness meditation, or metta. It is a meditation of compassion, where you imagine and you send out compassion first for yourself, and then a loved one, and then someone who is neutral to you, and then someone who is difficult for you, and then for the whole world, for all beings. And maybe neither of these things is for you. You must find the thing that is right for you. You must find the way that is right for you, that allows you to soften your heart, that allows you to open your heart, to see your neighbor as kin, even when you disagree, to cultivate compassion for the one who would see you suffer. You must find the thing and practice the thing that allows you to choose love. In his book, King tells a story about a transatlantic flight. He writes, in 1956, I flew from New York to London in this propeller-type aircraft that required 9.5 hours for a flight now made in 6 hours by jet. Returning from London to the United States, the stewardess announced that the flying time would be 12.5 hours. The distance was the same. Why an additional 3 hours? When the pilot entered the cabin to greet the passengers, I asked him to explain. You must understand about the winds, he said. When we leave New York, a strong tailwind is in our favor. But when we return, a strong headwind is against us. Then he added, don't worry. These 4 engines are capable of battling the winds. In any social revolution, there are times when the tailwinds of triumph and fulfillment favor us, and other times when strong headwinds of disappointment and setbacks beat against us relentlessly. We must not permit adverse winds to overwhelm us as we journey across life's mighty Atlantic. We must be sustained by our engines of courage in spite of the winds. This refusal to be stopped, this courage to be, this determination to go on in spite of, is the hallmark of a great movement. Friends, we are facing some very serious, relentless headwinds. And we know, we trust and assume, we work to make true that the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice, that we help do the work to bend it. We are facing some very strong and relentless headwinds. Our work and our courage and our persistence and our perseverance and our cultivation of love in our communities and in our lives will carry us until we are facing our tailwinds again. I leave you with these words from my colleague, the Reverend Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear. And the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down, there is another truth. You are not alone.
A lot to chew on. We thank Reverend Kimberly for her words, and remember that those of you here who couldn't see her can watch this online as soon as it's posted, which will be pretty soon, right? It's probably worth hearing it again. It's definitely worth hearing it again. Our final hymn this morning, originally written in 1900 as a poem from James Weldon Johnson and then set to music by his brother, John Rosamond Johnson, was first sung by a group of young black children at a segregated school in Jacksonville, Florida, to honor Booker T. Washington. It immediately became popular, and by 1919, the NAACP dubbed it the African American National Anthem. It is said that this was one of Martin Luther King's favorite hymns. It certainly expresses the incredible, bittersweet, angry, yet hopeful expression of resistance that he embodied. So with the greatest respect and in his honor, please rise once more, embody your spirit, and join in singing hymn number 149 in your gray hymnal, Lift Every Voice and Sing. We will do verses 1 and 3. Good job. Peg Espinola will come forward to deliver the benediction, entitled Holy and Generous Love by Elena Westbrook.
Go in hope, for the arc of the universe is long, and we can bend it toward justice. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice in our daily lives and the larger world. Go in love, because a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our lives.
As our service comes to an end, let's say goodbye to the folks online. Hi. Waving by habit.
Hello, friends, I mean you. You ain't got to be shy or cool. Grab yourself a chair, set yourself down, it's okay. Can probably smell that Super Sunday cooking. And Sadie's cakes, they're so good looking. There's plenty of food, go ahead and fix you a plate. All of our friends are now your friends. That's how we do it here. Stay as long as you like, and that's alright. We've got plenty of beer and wine. We got chicken, we got fruit, we got plenty of food. So come on up, there's room on the porch for everyone. Come on, Dr. Dan. The porch for everyone. Hey, share your feelings, share your heart. Just be you, it's who you are. You'll be accepted, you're so precious to me. And even if you go away, the more you come, the more you stay. 'Cause round here you'll only be a stranger for one day. Now you get it, now you see. As some of us, you hospitality. So come on up, there's room on the porch for everyone. So come on up, there's room on the porch for everyone. So come on up, there's room on the porch for everyone. Woo!
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all for coming out today. I neglected to mention earlier that there is going to be a reception for the artists of our current sanctuary display following coffee hour. So for those of you who can, please stick around. It's going to be lovely.